Bună dimineața! It is an honor for me to be here today, and I want to thank Maria Valentina Marinescu, Mihai, Oana, Monica this morning, Diana, and Dragos for having me today this morning. We have a lot of things in common. I'm French, so we're Europeans. We went probably through the same challenges. So first I'm going to talk still about the institution I represent this morning, the International Trade Club of Chicago. This is the oldest club of its kind in the entire country. Started in 1919 when the Americans realized that to supply their allies, they had the product, but no logistics. So they had to create something to move the goods from here to Europe. Today still, our audience are essentially in the logistics business. Transportation companies, custom workers, attorneys, and everything in between in trade. Also, I've been the president for the last 13 years. I got some privilege here. It's time to pass on. So I would invite you to consider joining ITCC and be active with us. The reason being is, in business, even with AI, there is still a human behind the computer that presses the button send or delete or anything else. Even the code is written so far by someone, a human. So the human component is still there. But humans have variants, different types of education, different languages, different cultural environment and history, and different aspirations. The meaning there is that ITCC is a melting pot. Why? It's because international trade is as diverse as it sounds. So when I first joined ITCC, sorry to say that, pardon my French, I love to say that. But when I first joined ITCC, it was the old white man club, all the old folks, enjoying the privilege of the organizations, not doing so much, and just taking one penny and getting by, basically. Today, it's a different story. We have 2 women on the board. We have 1 African, a German, and experts in Japanese culture. Why? It's because I want ITCC's board and audience and membership to be as diverse as possible, because international trade is cross-cultural, as we know as Europeans. You cannot survive as a standalone country. We cross the border, we drive a couple of hours, it's a different culture, different language, different rules and everything. We know that. It's part of our genetics, right? Here you drive 5 hours and still speak English. And eventually, if you go north, you speak French. But this guy there, kind of strange. But you understand my point. So this is an official call for you to join ITCC. Bring your energy. Bring what you aspire to do in the field of international business. Bring your ideas, your endeavor to make some things, and we'll help you to make it happen. The events committee can be the place for you. You can help identify speakers. You can help promote it, promote the next events. We have an event on June 13th on the topic of Mexico. You know how it is in kind of the mind of most Americans here, especially in the media, not the real world. The kind of underappreciated view or picture of Mexico. Most Americans don't realize how much life would be harder in this country without the Mexicans or the Hispanic community, right? So I'm not here to create any problems, I'm just a realist. So that's why we decided to partner with this organization for a very high-level event about Mexico, June 13th. So please go to itcc.org, and the event is there. You can register, and it's a full-day event, most of it full day, full of nuggets if you would aspire to do business with Mexico, in Mexico, and Mexican companies. The next event is another full-day event in October 16th. We reserved the date. It's going to be on the topic of Europe in and after the war in Ukraine. We had this topic last year twice with Ukrainians to promote the support to Ukraine, because you know how bad it is, because Romania is one of the key supporters and partner of Ukraine. Without Poland and Romania, Ukraine couldn't do it. Okay, so this is very important to me, because that's where business can take its part in supporting the cause of what is being right to do, not necessarily good for an individual. It's beyond ourselves. So here is the message. ITCC is really a place of exchange of ideas and endeavor. Networking. We have people from Hong Kong, and themselves are caught in the middle. They cannot say whatever they want because there's the Uncle China above them. And the same thing with Koreans. It's a different type of culture. But also we have African countries. We have other Eastern European countries, Western countries. Western countries like France, Germany, the usual suspect, and Italy. And I highly respect them because most of them are my former clients. So don't get me wrong, but they take it for granted because everybody wants to go to France. Everybody wants to do business in Germany, the UK, the Netherlands, eventually Italy, Spain, and so forth. So it's like, well, okay, welcome. If you want to spend your money, we're going to help you to spend it. It's not so much about working together, exchanging, and developing something that has a benefit for both sides. And that's very important to me. When I advise clients, because I have also two other businesses, one in the consulting business for international business. And I always say, well, you may have the best product that fulfills a need. However, remember that people, even though they don't know about your product, they still live on. So that means they have an alternative. Are you aware of which alternative they have? Right there, over 50% of the companies cannot answer that question. They haven't done their homework, they don't know how it works, and they don't know what the local consumers or companies are using. So if you come here presenting a product, you better know what the locals are using, because the need is still there, they just have a different means to fulfill it. So this is this kind of basic fundamentals that can be used. But again, you can always go through this by talking to each other and communicating and having a melting pot. The last thing I want to share with you is a personal experience. My first relationship with Romania started in 1989. The revolution. You took on, and still today it resonates heavily because I was only 24 when I was in Milan in a team of executives starting the Italian division of the big French retail. It was the first one. And I was there alone at night and working, watching your people taking over the presidential and the things that happened with Yaris School and all those things. That's my first thing. Second was much more positive. In 1998, I had the opportunity to meet the person who opened the very first consulate, Romanian consulate in Chicago, Gabriel Duju. And I can tell you that until last year, we were still exchanging through LinkedIn and technology, we were still in touch. So over the years, we changed a few things at my second. And when I looked at economics numbers to prepare for today, I was amazed by your accomplishments. If you compare the GDP between 1986 today or 2023, your GDP has been multiplied by 10 folds. 10 folds. You're one of the most successful and growing economy in Europe. This is an accomplishment. You cannot ignore it. So having your community joining ITCC, sharing your successes and your openness to work with others is a blessing. And on this, I would say, vă mulțumesc.